So out of nowhere, apparently Conor McGregor versus Justin Gaethje is now verbally agreed to fight, and according to them, they have both signed on the dotted line to fight each other next. Also, Shavkat Rakhmonov has no opponent as Kelvin Gastelum pulls out to an injury, and many other fights have been announced, such as Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker, and also Jonathan Martinez versus Adrian Yanez. I thought I'd talk about them at the end of the video, but let's start straight away with this. So, of course, as soon as Justin Gaethje wins, I didn't see this coming whatsoever. I did see this part coming where Conor McGregor would talk on Twitter non-stop as soon as there was a relevant fight to him being had in the UFC. He can't help but make those headlines anytime there is a big matchup in any division that he could possibly compete in. He made a bunch of tweets at Justin Gaethje saying that he wanted to fight him, and I said there's no way Justin Gaethje is ever going to entertain this. There's no way Ali Abdelaziz is ever going to entertain this either. I just didn't see this happen. I didn't see this being a reality, because I know that Gaethje and Ali Abdelaziz do not care about Conor McGregor. Like, they don't want him to succeed. They don't want to give him that opportunity. But I would imagine, unless I'm mistaken here, and this is a royal bamboozling, which I may talk about in a second as well, that Justin Gaethje has just been offered a ton of money to headline the December pay-per-view with the BMF belt on the line in December, which is the fight card that they kind of need a good main event for, because I know Alex Pereira versus Yuri Prohaska can be good, but having McGregor at the end of the year here, McGregor versus Gaethje in a main event for the BMF belt, forget about Chandler at this point, right? I don't see them announcing it officially anytime soon. I do see them waiting for Tough to finish first, otherwise they kind of ruin the viewership for Tough, so they'll probably act like they're not going to do the Gaethje-McGregor fight, but I think there's reason to why Gaethje's tweeting this, because he's not the type of guy to lie about this type of stuff, that a contract's been signed and now he's asking McGregor to sign it as well. This isn't something that Gaethje normally does unless it's Ali Abdelaziz, but this is the matchup to make in December. McGregor versus Gaethje in the main event for the BMF belt. Then Pereira versus Prohaska for the vacant light heavyweight championship in the co-main event. Then Volkanovski versus Emmett in the feature fight. Paddy Pimblett versus Matt Frevola or Bobby Green on the main card opener spot. And then maybe if Ian Gary wins against Jeff Neal or loses and is looking for a quick turnaround, he can fight on the main card as well. And that would be a massive, massive pay-per-view selling card. And I love the fact that they're interested in making this fight. But again, it could be Ali Abdelaziz not just tweeting randomly on Gaethje's account for no reason, because I don't think Gaethje would like him doing that. I don't think Gaethje would allow that. But I think that maybe they could be laughing. There is a small chance that they are so evil to Conor McGregor here and really want to prove a point to him that they're going to act like a contract has been sent so that they can say McGregor ducked us, we signed a contract, he didn't, and just use their word against his. And most fans are going to side with them, and in that way see Conor McGregor as a guy who's ducking Justin Gaethje. But the fact that McGregor said signed is basically like, yeah, I've received a contract and I've signed it. So this is the matchup to make. Chandler is going to be on self-deletion. He's on a self-deletion character arc right now because he thought he had that fight in the bag. But I guess because of the tough viewership, they realized that no one's interested and they're not going to waste another McGregor fight on low pay-per-view buys. So they're going to make this matchup happen, I reckon. Gaethje versus McGregor. I do think Gaethje would win. I do think McGregor has a solid chance because Gaethje is there to be hit. But after so long off, I don't see it. After so long off, I do not see McGregor returning and taking out Gaethje, who's been on a roll recently. And let's be real, this is probably the best situation for Gaethje to be in. He got choked out by Khabib. He goes to war with Fiziev, goes to war with Poirier, Alvarez, all these fighters he's gone to war with. Now he's back on that Gaethje-Cerrone vibe, Gaethje versus, who was another guy, Edson Barboza as well, where he didn't take much damage in this fight. Yes, he got cracked, but in other fights, recently at least, he's been going to war again. You know what I mean? So this is a nice quick turnaround. Right back in there with momentum. I think he will sleep Conor McGregor in maybe round 2. But I think it's going to be a hell of a fight regardless. I just don't see McGregor finishing him. But maybe he does. But after so long off with his leg break against a leg kicker like Gaethje, don't see it happening right now. Although I don't mind McGregor's chances, I'll be real, because there is always that chance that he can land that shot. Gaethje is there to be hit. and has taken a lot of damage in his career. So I'm looking forward to it. If it does happen, make it happen though, man. Forget about Chandler right now. Chandler, you got your money for being on Tough. You got your name out there for being on Tough as well. Time to be a company man again and look to fight Arman Tsarukyan, in my opinion. If they haven't done Dariush versus Tsarukyan, maybe just have him fight one of those guys, because it's time that we start putting these top contenders at lightweight against some up-and-comers. Same situation for Dustin Poirier as well. But we move on to another bit of news, which is we're going to move on. Although that fight is so interesting to talk about and the BMF belt would be on the line and the winner would get a title shot, I'm just going to keep on it for that sake. The winner will get a title shot here. Gaethje wins, of course he does. People are going to be angry about this, but Gaethje is the top contender outside of Oliveira, who's fighting for the belt against Makhachev. And if McGregor wins against Gaethje and makes all that noise and sells 1.5, 1.6 million pay-per-view buys, and Makhachev or Oliveira win, they're going to do McGregor for the title 100 million%. They're going to do that. And people are going to complain maybe. But I don't know if they can, if there isn't like an Arman Tsarukyan coming off a win in the meantime. So if I was Arman, I'd get busy right now and see if he can make a bit of a statement in the meantime before that fight goes down. But amazing matchup. We move on to another bit of news, which is the fact that now Shavkat needs a new opponent. Kelvin Gastelum has pulled out of their fight. Won't be fighting Shavkat Rakhmonov. Very sad, because I was looking forward to that card. One good thing about this, though, is this card is taking place on the 16th of September. So we still literally have 6 weeks to find a replacement. Wonderboy is an option. Not a good option for Wonderboy, but he didn't get paid. So he's still going to be looking for that paycheck that he's done a training camp for. So Wonderboy is genuinely an option here. Number 6 versus number 7. It could go down. I also think Kevin Holland is someone who could get a call here. And he's number 12 in the rankings right now, because a lot of people see Shavkat Rakhmonov as like top 3. Because, you know, he's like that good. People see him as that good. But he's number 6 in the rankings. He's still okay to take on number 12 or take on number 7. He doesn't have to take on a guy ranked above him. In fact, he was going to end up taking on Kelvin Gastelum. I said half instead of haft. But either way, that's a weird word because it's not really a word. But either way, Shavkat Rakhmonov is not entirely deserving of a top 5. He is, but right now you can excuse not giving him one. And to be honest, a Kevin Holland matchup or a Stephen Thompson matchup is more deserving than a Kelvin Gastelum matchup, who isn't even ranked at welterweight right now. So I say find that replacement for him. Do him on the 16th of September. Maybe they could even do it a bit earlier against Jack Della Maddalena, because I know he's been calling out Shavkat for a long time. That would be a good addition to the Australia card, but I don't know if Shavkat wants to travel all the way over there. Might actually be better for him in terms of where he is in the world, though. So maybe that is an option, but I'd much rather find a replacement for him in that co-main event of the welterweight fight in September on the Mexican-themed card, because without that fight, it's not as good of a fight card whatsoever. So it needs that strong co-main event. Hopefully they can figure things out. You got Kevin Holland or Stephen Thompson. I think most likely they're going to go with Kevin Holland. They could replace him to fight on the Australia pay-per-view of JDM, but they could also do Wonderboy because he didn't get paid, so maybe he should be looking to get back in there. We'll see what goes down. Other than that, we move on to some other announcements, which are Jonathan Martinez versus Adrian Yanez. Big matchup in the bantamweight division. I'm going to have to go with Jonathan Martinez, man. Dude's a vet of the UFC at this point. I know he lost to Davey Grant, and that's not a good look, but he was doing really well. He dropped Davey Grant early on and then got caught with that combo in round 2 and put away in like a comeback KO for Davey Grant. I'm going to go Jonathan Martinez. I was very impressed that he beat Saeed Nurmagomedov in a very close fight. Some people say robbery, but I say very, very close fight. You know what I mean? Very, very close. You can see the argument for him winning based on damage. And I feel like Jonathan Martinez is a real threat in this division. And Adrian Yanez just got KO'd by Rob Font and was beaten by Davey Grant. I know Jonathan Martinez was as well. But it's very obvious now, seeing his recent performances, Jonathan Martinez that is, that I think he's just a little bit better than Adrian Yanez. Mixes it up a bit better. Will be able to chop at the legs. But Yanez obviously does have a solid chance to finish this fight. But Martinez has been looking really, really good. Great matchup for both of them, though. That's going to be on the Nevada card, October 14th. in the Apex, apparently. I'm not sure when that's going to be taking place, but apparently that's going to be in the Apex, so they're now announcing some new cards, and that would be a really good feature fight, co-main event, with a solid main event above it. Sign me up to that one. We move on to another fight, which is Magomed Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker. Massive matchup for the October pay-per-view card, which was needed as well because they don't have many title fights on that card. They have some good fights, but they need that substance down the card. They've got Khamzat Chimaev versus Paulo Costa. They've got the main event of Islam Makhachev, Charles Oliveira. Card sell itself. The card sells itself, but now they just need that one or two sick fights underneath it to really boost up that card. They've got Imavov versus Aliskerov. That's another main card fight they can have. I say this one makes a very good opener of the main card or a feature fight between two ranked contenders in the lightweight division, light heavyweight division. I reckon Ankalaev's going to win. I think his boxing's really underrated. His offensive grappling is very underrated. Now, I understand Walker is a wild man, so if anyone's going to get an upset here, it's going to be someone who fights like him, who throws a lot of crazy stuff and is pretty dynamic and can catch you with like weird hammer fists like he did against Ryan Spann and also against Paul Craig as well, and finish those two guys, which are two really good wins, by the way. I feel like Ankalaev's going to beat him, though. He can wrestle with him. Maybe Walker will be better defensively, but Ankalaev can wrestle with him. I think he's just a little bit too crisp with the boxing, and I can see him KOing Johnny Walker in the early part of this fight. So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Ankalaev by KO, and then maybe he'll earn his chance to fight against Alonzo Menifield next. And then maybe if he wins that one, we'll talk about Dominic Reyes. Maybe if he wins that one, we'll talk about Dustin Jacoby. So then we can give him a title shot, because it seems very clear that the UFC want anything but for him to be a champion right now, with the amount of money they could make at the top of light heavyweight at the moment. Like and subscribe. Toodle Pip. Thank you for watching. I zoomed through that video. All the topics, all the discussions, nice and quick, nice and easy. We speed through it with all the information you require. I might make a video. Let me know. Should I make a video about this MMA Journalism Award? Haven't heard of half of their names. That's outdated. And it's time I fucking laid down the law on these MMA Journalists of the Year that I've never fucking heard of, pretty much. See you later. Goodbye. Toodle Pip.